Okay, so this is a bit of a random video, guys, but I genuinely feel like I nearly was about to get jumped at the P. Diddy sentencing. Even the light went off. Even the ring light said I want no part of the conversation. Hold on. Okay, yeah, so I basically feel like things were very tense at the sentencing, and there was a lot more people there than the verdict, which to me was shocking as it is. Apparently the sentencing is bigger than the verdict. I disagree. The verdict is the biggest day, but the sentencing had queues of people waiting outside trying to get into the courtroom and the overflow rooms. More media and press than I've ever seen. There were people with banners. There was so much energy and basically a lot of tense energy going around. I go into this courtroom, and I believe this was near the beginning of the sentencing, and I go in and I ask the sergeant, clerk, whatever you want to call it, that is handling one of the courtrooms, can we go sit at the front? That's what I go say to him, right? Then there's a guy there, I don't know who this person is, and I couldn't understand him at first because he had a very thick New York accent, but he was saying you got to stop lying on your live. But before I don't know what he was saying before. I wasn't even speaking to him. I was speaking to the police guy standing next to him, or sergeant, whatever you want to call it, court federal officer, whatever. And he was like, you got to stop lying on your lives. You got to stop lying on your life. And I'm thinking, like, I don't think that he was about to jump me, but I just thought that was very weird that he would say that, because I don't know you. And there's no hi, hello. There's no nothing. Again, plenty of P. Diddy supporters were in those courtrooms, flooding everywhere, and that's okay, that's fine. If you want to support Diddy, that's your prerogative. You're allowed to do so. You shouldn't be allowed to be forced to think in a way that you're not allowed to. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, point blank period. Freedom of speech, freedom of opinion, freedom of thought. Whether you agree with Diddy and want him free, or whether you want him to be locked away forever, it doesn't matter. We all can, sit in the same room together. This man clearly couldn't, and was clearly upset with me, didn't like me, kept looking at me, and I was like, okay, what do you want to do? Of course, I just said thank you and I walked off, because I'm not about to fight you or scream at you, shout at you, verbally say something to you whilst we're in a courtroom, whilst there are federal officers surrounding us, because we're all going to get kicked out. So I just ignored it and basically walked ahead and sat at the front and was able to sit there for a while. Lunch happens, and we leave the courtroom. I go live for a bit, whatever, and I go live to you guys. I end it, and then I basically try to go back in. Then another lunch happens. We leave, another break. I go to collect my belongings because you have to give everything in before you can leave, to and fro the courtroom. Then I see these two random men staring at me. I don't know who these men are. They're not federal officers. They're not that first guy who basically confronted me, and they keep looking at me. And I'm just like, who are you people? It definitely isn't a subscriber or somebody who finds me online. I can distinguish between that and what these two people were looking at. And there were two different people. They weren't together. There was one looking at me as I was getting off an elevator continuously, as if waiting for me there. And then as I was collecting my gadgets about to leave, there was another guy, not a federal officer, who was also staring at me. Two different guys from the first guy. And I'm thinking, okay, why are these people staring at me in a way that I have never witnessed before whilst coming to the courtroom? It's as if they were pre-planning for me to be there, or some premeditated kind of move or attack, and just continuously looking. I don't know if they were Diddy's goons. I don't know if they were just pro Diddy fans, or people who just didn't like me, or people who were ready to fight. Because best believe, the verdict day, there were multiple fights going on. Multiple fights. I spoke about it, other people spoke about it, people were on one. And so I thought, okay, me seeing two separate fights, one in an elevator and one down in the queue ready to collect the gadgets, I'm ready to roll. Somebody's definitely going to come for me, because those people who sit there and said, oh, I saw all of these fights, nobody came for me, but all of these fights, people will come for you. You're not Superman, you're not special. Do you understand? So just because nobody came for me during the verdict and the time I was at the trial doesn't necessarily mean that I'm Superman and I'm untouchable, because it can happen to you. It can happen to me any day. Do you understand? Life can change fast. So not just remaining humble, but remain ready. I'm not even talking about being humble. Just remain ready. And so I was like, okay, these men are going to jump me. We're going to go outside. I'm going to go outside and go live. And these men are going to jump me. That's basically what I thought was ready to happen. That's why in one of my lives, I kept looking. When some of you guys were like, why do you keep looking around? Because I was ready to see if they were going to sneak me from the back. Because that's what people are on these days. They don't want to sit there and say, let's fight. And, they don't want to give you a certain time to fight. They want to sneak jump you, which I don't think even stands as fighting. To me, it's cowardly to sneak up on someone behind their back and jump them. You should be actually saying, you know what, let's fight at 6 p.m. at this time so everybody's ready. But nonetheless, I digress. I thought I was about to get jumped by these men, but they did not do so. Then the first guy, whoever that guy was then looking at me again twice whilst I was live, and I thought, you know what, okay, I grabbed my tripod and I moved away because I don't have no security guards. I didn't hire no security guards. Perhaps I should have, but I didn't do that. And so I thought, you know, I'm really on my own here, and the federal officers around the court, they're not going to do anything. It ain't London where they will arrest you on the spot and you'll be taken to jail. Over there, they will just tell you to move away and they will just throw you all away. Like, they really don't want to see any of that. So I nearly got jumped by these men, and I know it sounds like I'm being dramatic the way I'm describing it, but they were dead staring at me like something was going to go on, weren't smiling, weren't looking, were very much aggressively looking at me, and I'm thinking, okay, cool, that's what they're waiting for me to leave. They probably were waiting for me to come out the elevator to try and jump somebody, especially because Quincy out here grabbed some, you know, girl's glasses because apparently she was, you know, recording. Now the video of that has come out. She was inside the courthouse as you're queuing up to give your things, and all your gadgets should be turned off. So she was wrong for having her glasses on and trying to record with the flashing light. That is wrong, point blank period. But Quincy should not be going up to somebody's personal space and grabbing their glasses and saying that you shouldn't be doing X, Y, Z. So already that was going on. It was tense. Everybody was on something. People were ready for the sentencing. That's probably what it was. Diddy's children were also on something, and I was also told in the cafeteria that P. Diddy's children were acting very opposite to how they were acting in the court trial. They were crying, tears, seriousness, but in the cafeteria they were apparently very happy, laughing, and a very different behavior and emotive. So everybody was pre-planning something. People were scared, people were tense. I was paranoid. I thought people were going to get jumped again. I thought fights were going to happen, arguments were going to happen. There were whispers and talks in the queues that I was hearing. There was also a guy who was, you know, he walked out the courthouse as we were waiting to queue in. He was screaming. I don't know what this guy was saying. He was screaming at the police officers and us at the queue, talking about Diddy and saying something and just going off and screaming. I drowned it out, but he was already angry, and that was before we even got in. That's before the sentencing even started at 8 a.m. How do you have the energy to be screaming that much at all of us at 8 a.m. in the morning? I just don't understand how people are on one like that. I don't get it. Then there was another man talking about F the press, shouting and screaming and about to confront the press. Everybody's always on something, and so I thought that I was about to get jumped. So that's just my little story of all of the drama that basically happened outside of the courtroom that doesn't really pertain to P. Diddy. I just wanted to report on that as well, and that, you know, it's going to be even more tense for his appeal. It's going to be even more tense for any civil trial that he has to go through. It's going to be even more tense when it comes to what's going to happen for Luigi Mangioni's case as well, because for some reason everything in New York with the Southern District of New York is not controlled, very polarizing, and people aren't in control of these crowds, and I don't understand why. I truly don't get it. I don't understand why. Then there was a fight between the main person from TMZ and the woman who goes around with the camera, her and somebody else. They were basically fighting where the other girl was like, you shouldn't be here, you shouldn't be in this position, this space, and whatever. The TMZ girl kept walking away because she was there to work and clock in. And so that in itself was also another issue that I saw going on. Oh Lord, a lot of people were going through it, and all those men that were looking at me, circling me, I was like, okay, cool, I'm about to get jumped. But luckily that didn't take place. It can happen, anybody can get jumped, but luckily I didn't get jumped. Anyways, irrelevant video, doesn't really pertain to the P. Diddy case, but I just wanted to talk about it if you guys wanted to listen. Do subscribe if you guys wish to, comment down below. I didn't even do an intro, I wanted to get straight into this conversation. Subscribe, comment down below, give this video a thumbs up, I'd appreciate it. It's just one click to subscribe, that's all you guys have to do, it goes a long way. And I'll catch you guys soon for another video. Sorry again, I feel like I'm talking too fast. Probably the espresso that I just took, but probably what it is. Subscribe, and I'll catch you guys soon for another video.